should I just say good afternoon, everyone? As kind of thanks for that introduction. I kind of started my journey in the software world long time back when I was working on protocol. If anybody of you are aware, signaling system number 7, which is the backbone of PSTN. Anybody here know SS7? Wow, that's good to know. Since then, I've been working on the services and the applications on top of PSTN, then kind of got into the buzzword, which is called the voice over IP, right? It was all about voice at that time. How could you do it over the circuit networks? Then how could you do it over the IP? And then now we are talking about this mobile thing where the whole trend has shifted to the data. Two things have changed. One, my managers. Second, the kind of time my manager gives me to build these applications. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this. Somehow everybody thinks that the mobile application should be out in 8 to 12 weeks. I don't know why that weeks have come. Because I know, we used to have every release every couple of years. Then the shift happened. Okay, can we do it, twice a year? And then can we do it, one in a quarter? And now we're talking about weeks. But that's the change in the industry. That's the kind of business requirement we are kind of living through. So, today's presentation, in another 15-20 minutes, I'm going to talk about. The speakers before me talked about the huge opportunity which exists in the mobile world today, and what can we do to capture that opportunity, right? And I'll try to set the context by talking about what kind of opportunities exist today, why we say that it's a big buzzword, why everybody is behind it, why we're having this conference and talking about it, and then kind of going through what are the challenges to get there, right? We talked about security challenges, BYOD, and the whole mobile app world. The personas are kind of getting onto the same device, be it your personal side of it or a business side of it. How do you deal with that? And then how do you build applications, right? How do you build it in 8 to 12 weeks? How do you still make a quality app? Can you afford to have a low quality, low score on an app store? Absolutely not. Somebody says, having a no app is better than a low quality app. Right, and so how do you take care of the quality user experience, which takes into consideration a completely different kind of user interfaces into account? So, if I just move on and just to set the context, we are living through this phase of transformation. Every day we see the devices getting added. Prediction is that by 2020 we would have 10 billion devices in the world. That's more than the number of living people on this world. I'm sure, if you count dead, then that might, but anyway. So that's the kind of, every human being will have more than one device, right? And in that kind of a reach which the world has, what can you do with your business? What can you do with your, can you look at new use cases? Can you look at new business cases? And that's all we are looking at right now. And no wonder CIOs are treating this as a priority. All of them, or at least most of them, think that mobile is a priority to look forward to, right? To look at how their business model needs to change according to the business they are in. If you are a bank, you're looking at how do I reach to my customer base? What kind of transactions I should allow? What kind of security measures I should take? If you're a healthcare, that's you're looking at something different. Right, and the last one, which is an important one, the mobile apps are driving some of this, right? Obviously, you have the devices and the gadgets below it, the sensors as the presentation talked about before me. But then you have this mobile app, the real cool, innovative mobile apps which make use of the sensors and come up with some different transform business cases, right? So if I just we talked about Gerard talked about. The new Nokia phone. That's nothing but you augment reality with something on top of it. You kind of have a context wherever you go, and you have some intelligence attached to it. If you are in a conference room, you know that you are in a conference room and your mobile should go on silent automatically, right? So then we don't have to say, switch off so that's the kind of intelligence we're talking about. Everybody knows about that gadget glass, which really makes it an hands-free device, right? Even though we have all kind of smartphones today which has voice recognitions, that you could do that, but with the gadget glasses, it's going to make the world completely different in terms of the user interfaces, right? So there are these mobile apps which are being developed each and every day, cool apps, which kind of is changing the world, right? You don't have to use your badge or go somewhere else and you use another identity. You could have one identity, go everywhere, and kind of use that instead. So so the whole mobile commerce, the banking applications which you have, things are changing, right? I remember 5 years down the line, this was not the case, right? 5 years before, this was not the case. And today, if I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is I go to my smartphone and say, hey, do I have something coming from WhatsApp from my friends, right? Do I have something on my business email which I should check? Do I have something on my defects, or an enhancement which I kind of take care in a product development organization, right? So things are changing. I'm sure most of you can relate to this, because first thing we do now is to in the morning is just to go and check what's happening on the smartphone, then taking the brush and go to the bathroom, right? So that's how the life has changed. And I think the mobile, we're looking at two ways, right? Every enterprise, every organization is looking at how to make use of this world in two ways. One, how do you increase your productivity of your your own organization? How do you make sure that the employees get these devices, or they already have one? And then how could you make use of them? How do you leverage that to increase the productivity of it? And at the same time, if you're a bank or a healthcare or a retailer, you want to reach out to your customers on these devices and come up with new business cases. And I think that's the two kind of sectors which we kind of look into. So this is the slide which I want to spend some time. So I'm from Rational IBM, and sometimes there's always a question: IBM and mobile. Is IBM coming with a new phone? What is IBM doing in this world? And IBM is not coming up with a phone, right? But IBM has always believed, it's always been in the market of app lifecycle management, right? Rational, where I come from, I have products like ClearCase or Rational Team Concert, and those products, Rational Rose, Purify, which kind of help you do the application lifecycle develop management in a desktop or a server-based application. We're looking at this trend very seriously. In fact, we've been working on it since few years, but this year we also did one strategic acquisition called Worklight. Any of you have heard about Worklight? And okay, great. So I heard the question in the first presentation that which platform should I choose from, and we as IBM are not affiliated or attracted to any particular platform. We know that there are cross-platform industry. There are there are worlds of Android and iOS and RIM and Windows phones. But when you are developing an application which you want to reach out to all of this, what do you do? And that's something which where we did this strategic acquisition of Worklight, and we have a bunch of offerings which allow you to develop applications on this cross-platform. Right? It pretty much uses the open technologies which IBM always supports, you could kind of make an hybrid or web-based applications, on using this, and you kind of can pretty much develop once, maintain only one code base, but can deploy on all these devices, right? But if I summarize IBM's strategy for mobile, it's this three circles. On the leftmost side, it's extend and transform. We know that if you are already a business enterprise, you already have a market base, you already have a reach to your customers, but you are trying to extend that reach on this set of devices, on the mobile set of devices. So you already have existing business services, but you want to reach to this new world. You do want to look at mobile specific characteristics and transform your business, but you still might leverage your existing back-end application, your existing middle tier applications and services layer. So how do you achieve that? We have a bunch of offerings in that space. The second one on the bottom, manage and secure, BYOD, bring your own devices to the work, or having different personas on the same handset, same Palm devices. How do you make sure that if you have an email or if you have a very confidential data in those applications, how do you secure that? your phone can easily get stolen. You might be in an office, but your phone, might be roaming everywhere in a taxi in Bangalore. And in those kind of circumstances, how do you ensure that the data, your business critical and confidential data, doesn't get compromised? And we have we obviously have a capabilities which can, erase the data from remotely and all that. So we definitely are looking at those kind of challenges as well. And the third one, which is build and connect. You definitely want to build new mobile apps. You want to connect to your existing and backends and the middle tier. And how do you do that? And the Worklight definitely helps you do that. But also the rational CLM portfolio, right? The collaborative lifecycle management portfolio helps you achieve that. Helps you achieve to become agile and do a delivery or release every 8 to 12 weeks. It helps you achieve bridge this cross-platform gaps. It helps you achieve doing an DevOps, development operations, kind of develop your app, put it on App Store, test it with a different set of capabilities, and then kind of put it in the production in the real App Store. So we have this series of capabilities in that particular part of it. And I'll be talking about more in this in the focus session in the afternoon. So if you are interested, be there, and I can talk about. I'm going to talk about that particular circle a lot more in detail. So with that, I just want to end this saying that we are living through this transformation, and the mobile apps are driving this transformation fundamentally, even though, as I said, the gadgets and the mobile phones are important. And how could you write a better mobile app faster with a high quality to get you there? And with that, I would like to say thank you, and have a great conference for the remaining of the day.